So, with the start of Season 4 well out of the way for Battlefield 2042, we are looking forward to the next event, Leviathan Rising, and there are some official details that have been given out, and some leaked details covering this new mode that have me very excited and have far higher expectations than the last event that we got, the Liquidators. This is looking to up the ante completely, involve a lot more story, involve a different game mode that's actually something new and not a repurposed shell of a game mode, some new character and gun skins, and overall a much better experience for the players than Liquidators ever offered. So that is why I'm incredibly excited. But as always, there are a few caveats and concerns when talking about the updates coming, and I'll get into those in a bit, but let's dive into some of the good stuff that we can see coming up and why I think Leviathan Rising will be a genuine step up and step in the right direction for the live service events for 2042 that the player base has thought has been pretty lackluster so far. Story-wise, it looks like we're going to be going after the Shearwater satellite, I assume, or the technology involved in trying to protect the Earth from being terraformed into, say, the Ice Age of 2142, by Oz or by the Americans. We don't know who the enemy is just yet. But speaking of protecting, there's something else that can protect you on the internet. That's right, this video is sponsored by ExpressVPN, so thank you very much to them. Now, when you're online, you're sending data over an unencrypted internet connection, like sending, say, a postcard. Your message can be viewed by any nosy people online, and they can look at your data, your passwords, even your emails. But a VPN will create a secure tunnel between you and the internet. No one else can see your private information, and that is what ExpressVPN does. It can protect you from hackers like 2042's RAW and stop them from getting into your personal details. It can also stop your internet service provider from seeing everything that you do, because in the UK, they're required to keep that data for up to 2 years, but not on ExpressVPN's watch. And finally, ExpressVPN can give you access to all parts of the internet in any country's region. For example, if I want to go on Netflix and watch Hunter x Hunter, I can't do that in the UK over here. But if I switch over to American Netflix, then there you go. I can watch everything that I need. I'm a big anime fan, and a lot of that isn't really available on UK Netflix, but with ExpressVPN, it can be. So to get ExpressVPN, just click on the link below, and when you use my link, you'll get your first 3 months for free. So once again, thank you to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. Anyway, back on with the story. Of course, we have the Shearwater device and technology we've got to shut down. That is pushing the story in a good direction. I love to see that. But let's be honest, you watching this right now probably don't really care about the story of 2042 that much. That is the unfortunate truth. It's a small minority of us that do, but I understand that. So what is the mode itself, and why is it different from the ones that have come before, and why should you even be excited about it? Well, it's called Shutdown according to the leaks, and actually incorporates a brand new model. You can see this on screen now, and while this might not seem like much, it's more than we've got before with the repurposed Rush and Conquest game modes from previous seasons. The mode will include activating these, scoring points, and that's essentially how it will work with a round-based system, it seems. This is also a big leap from what we've had before, because multiple rounds aren't really a thing. Sure, you'll have rounds of Rush, but it'll count as a new match overall, and won't actually track as a round-based system, but it seems like this will, which is interesting. Back when 2042 was first launching and we got a few data mines of maybe smaller game modes with smaller squads against each other, this was the format I was expecting it to take back with maybe Liquidators. We did get 8v8, but it was just your classic Conquest or Rush, and it didn't really feel that unique. But this right here, this does. And I'm really excited to try out this mode. I'm just hoping that they've balanced it, because some of the previous Liquidator event modes weren't that well fine-tuned in terms of balancing, so we'll see what they do with that. So that all seems great, and it seems like this event will run for 2 weeks. We'll see if there's any mode rotation, but I don't think there will be, since we haven't had any inclination from that from leakers or from Battlefield themselves. We could get a different map rotation each week. That's probably more likely, since they seem to have put a lot of resources into this new mode, so I'd say map rotation is definitely more likely. Now let's get on to some of the lesser exciting stuff for me, which is character skins. Now some of these do look pretty decent, but they are your typical gas masks that DICE seems to love. They've taken on board the feedback of covering up specialist faces, but they seem to only be going with gas masks pretty much for this event. It's fine, it fits a certain look. Some of these masks look pretty cool, and Battlefield is not a milsim, so I'm willing to accept this Pike one, for example. The franchise has never really taken itself that seriously in multiplayer, and I could actually see these being used in the future. They're completely fine, and they won't really break my immersion personally, but I know some people are up in arms about this, and do let me know below if you don't like this and why you don't like this. One thing that I can definitely agree on though is the colouring of the lights that seem to be on the specialists. Now, If I was naive, I would say these would change between teams, between green and red, but I don't think they will, because we've had a skin like this for Sundance, and it's red for both teams. Granted, you do have the standard specialist LEDs still attached to you, so you can differentiate between enemy and team, but it will be a little weird seeing all of these cosmetics running around, and even your friendlies will be marked in red at first glance. A little bit concerning, but we'll have to see how they look in game, because I can't really make judgment from these pre-rendered screenshots. My opinions pretty much carry over to the gun skins as well. They look pretty solid, but some of them are a little bit over the top, although I barely notice people's gun skins when I'm shooting at them and only really notice my own or my teammates if we're purposefully showing them off to each other. So if you don't like them, don't run them, and they probably won't affect your game experience at all. So overall for this, it seems like in story and in gameplay for the mode, it's expanding on Liquidators and blowing it out the water completely. I will admit my praises were high for that event when it launched, and I really enjoyed it. I won't back down on that point, but I will admit with the new content we've been getting and the first looks at this new mode, it has put a bit of perspective back on Liquidators and how seemingly, not lazy because it wasn't, but underdeveloped it was. It seems like it wasn't tested enough, and I really hope this next one is. I will say I did prefer the Liquidator skins over these ones. They were white, so very easy to see, but I felt the aesthetic was slightly more clean, and I did enjoy that fact. But these skins are by no means bad. I've seen some people saying they're good, I've seen some people saying they're bad. For me, they sit somewhere in the middle, but they are fitting into this Leviathan Division storyline that we got going on for this event. I don't see that lasting past this event. We haven't heard from the Liquidators at all since that, which I'm fine with. But I do hope we get some advancement of the story through this, like we get some sort of resolution at the end. The trailer will probably build up and set up the event, but we need that resolution at the end to carry on the story. Don't just let the mode sit and end. Carry on that narrative after it's done and give us some story, because we don't have a campaign for 2042, so the only ways we get lore are either through Easter eggs and voice lines, trailers, and cinematics. So we need some more of those after the event is done. Lead us to the next plot point, keep moving on that. They're probably very expensive to make, but the cutscenes do look great, so we need more of them. But I'm also genuinely curious, most of all, from you guys if you care about the story. Let me know in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious. Do you care about 2042's storyline at all? Because I see nothing about it on the main subreddits, mostly just about gameplay. In our Discord, there's a lot of discourse about it, but outside of that, I don't see many people talking about it, and they should do because it's actually really good. Anyway, I'm done now. That's all I got for this, and I can't wait to try out the mode personally and the new event and experience it all with the community as we always do. Anyway, leave any feedback about this event or what you're expecting to be in it in the comments below. Consider liking and subscribing, and if you want to come and talk to me or anybody else that does love this game, you can join us over on the NoSlot Discord. We're talking about Battlefield 2042 all the time, covering the new modes, new updates, and it's a good place to be if you want to be part of this community. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you for ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video as well, and I'll see you in the next one.